And now, the moment you've been waiting for, Radioactive on CHUO 89.1 FM is back.
That's right, we are back on Radioactive live sessions in studio with Double Experieince. How are you guys doing today?
Really good.
Good. How's it going?
Good. Once again, the voice and the guitar that you all heard earlier was Ian and Brock of Double Experieince. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
So I was reading your bio online, and you guys self-proclaimed nerd rockers. What does that mean to you?
I mean, we're almost an even blend of nerds and rockers. So we're not like, we don't play Game Boys as an instrument, but we don't also sound exactly like 3 Days Grace singing about the same old rock stuff. We're right in the middle where we have a nerdy worldview. It's exactly who we are. If we couldn't be professional musicians, we'd be professional gamers, basically. Cool.
Actually, yeah, the gaming connection was something I was curious about because in reading about you guys, there was a song off of your most recent album, Unsaved Progress, that caught the attention of the game Destiny, or what was the connection there? How did that happen?
So we fell in love with this amazing video game called Destiny, and I mean a ton of people did. 30 million copies sold of it, something like that.
It's huge.
Game of the year, greatest game ever, by the way. And so we like Brock was saying, it's kind of like we have this like nerdy worldview, and the thing that we want to do is we want to write about the things that are important to us that may also have like a spin to the outside world, and because we pump so much time into Destiny, it was like we wanted to write a song about that because it was such like a thing in our lives, like such a huge force, and
we made lifelong friends through it. And then once Bungie picked up on the song, it allowed Ian and I to go to this like Destiny convention in Florida where people had heard the song. We got to meet the game developers and stuff. So it was really kind of like, thanks to the Glimmer Shot, we've been able to make these memories we would have never otherwise would have had.
Okay, so the Glimmer Shot is the one that kind of like caught the attention of the developers themselves.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool way to kind of making the connections in the gaming community just through playing the game online and stuff. People you're meeting through that. And then, people who made it.
And then again, to go back to your original question, it's not like we're now going to do a Pokemon song and a Super Mario song because
just making the rounds.
Because like we don't want to pander, but through Destiny we've like made lifelong friends and stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's something genuine though. Like
exactly.
You guys really love that game, and like we're like forging genuine friendships and relationships through it.
Yeah, and everyone thinks we're going to be these guys who are like constantly playing video games, or our instruments are like keyboards and synthesizers, but we're not. We like rock music and we like video games, so we just smushed them together.
Wow, the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And that's a dream. Like just combining your two biggest passions like that is great. I'm really interested by kind of reclaiming and glorifying the word nerd. Why is that important? Is that something that's important to you guys, or?
I think so. I mean, same stuff I like now. We kind of made fun of in high school for liking, like comic books and certain movies that weren't, rom-coms and stuff. So
yeah,
I think that nerd culture is everywhere now. You can't go to the movie theater without seeing some sort of Avengers-esque thing. So now it's popular to be a nerd, which is kind of ironic because it used to be the big sort of demeaning insult, right?
Yeah.
Like just a nerd or geek, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it had to come with the millennial generation in a way, because we grew up, trading like Crazy Bones and Pogs, and I know other generations have had things to trade, but those turned into Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering, and we had the Game Boys in the mid '90s and stuff, and so our generation like grew up with those things, but we were always told, well, that's not cool, and because we were so like children, right? You don't question whether that's cool. And I think now that the millennials growing up on things like that are adults, we've all kind of realized, like, man, it's cool that I like Magic the Gathering, or it's cool that I play WoW or nerd out about video games.
If anyone can see this, they know we don't have the bodies for playing hockey. We're short, unathletic people, so nerd is our calling.
Hashtag dad bod.
Dad bod.
I'm on that train for sure. It's funny because now the things that you were so passionate about just happen to be so much more popular now.
Yeah.
And it's something I talk about with a lot of people, and I noticed from growing up, because as someone who was also picked on for being into Pokemon and stuff like that, was that being a nerd was such a put down then.
Yeah.
But now nerd is cool. Whereas like I don't think the kids realized as when we were younger that nerd is like oh, nerd just means you're passionate about something,
Yeah.
that you have that interest, that you're into something.
Yeah.
But now it's cool to have that because you have a hobby, you have interest, and you can combine those things as you guys do as a band.
Totally.
I just wanted to chat a little bit about how you guys have transitioned into starting your own label. I noticed in the album credits for your first few records there was other producers, other folks, other names listed, but for Unsafe Progress, your newest album, produced by Double Experience and
and I would say that came from, we learned a lot from those who produced us before. In fact, the other name on the credits of Unsaved would be Al Jacobs.
Right.
So we returned to him, and he'd be the first to admit, I'm just an engineer, man. Like he likes to get out of the band's way, but that in itself has gave Ian and I the ownership to go, well, so what goes in the song, what doesn't go in the song, and why do we make these decisions? So
right.
It's definitely because of Al that we can even call ourselves self-producers, because he's taught us so much in our music making.
Okay, cool. And in terms of because you guys hadn't worked with a label previously, is that correct?
No, as Ian and I, no, have not encountered a label.
Okay, so then what does that with starting your own label, Colfax Music? What does that mean in terms of the workload for you guys?
It lets us be masters of our own destiny, if I'm allowed to use that word, because it allows us to be really close to our business. I mean, like obviously when you get in a band and you start playing like music, it is inherently a creative outlet. Mm-hmm. But if you only ever look at music as a creative outlet, but you want to do it as a career, someone's going to take advantage of you some way, somehow, somewhere on your journey. And so for us, it was making sure that we understood everything about the business, everything about what it means to be in a band, what it means to be business owners, not just in the music industry, but otherwise, to ensure that our house was taken care of, that everything was going to run exactly as we wanted it to run, that we could do the things that we wanted to do on our own agenda, on our own time, without having to say, like, pander to, oh, well, but you have to be attractive, or you have to like do the $10,000 like photo shoot or something like that, right? It allows us to run our band the way that we want it to, and because of things like the internet, Facebook, social media, we can do that now, where bands 20 years ago couldn't do that.
A big part of our story is this DIY thing. I mean, we've toured a lot over the years, mostly because no one would just hand us a tour, right? So if you want to leave your garage, you have to do it. And in that time, we've admitted that we wouldn't say no to someone working with us. It's just no one is like clamoring to work with nerd bands from Canada until you give them a reason to. So we're just trying to keep on our hustle and show them that we're here to do music for a long time, not just a flash in the pan. So that's made easier by things like whether you're on a label, whether it's your own or someone else's.
Yeah, I mean, like the modern music industry, there isn't. I mean, I think it's always been a myth, but there isn't a man somewhere with a suit with $1 million check, right? Like that doesn't exist anymore. Whether it existed before, I can't say. But yeah, certainly now, like labels, industry folk at large will not get involved with your act unless you've shown that you've put in 10,000 hours, that you know where you want to go, because they want a finished commodity, or at least something that's not raw. And so for us, it was just showing that we've invested time, money, blood, sweat, and tears into our band, so that if somebody else ever comes along, they can see that and know that it's a safe bet, because we're not going to quit overnight,
Mm-hmm. And over the years, you guys have played over 500 shows in 16 different countries?
Yep.
So you've been around the block a time or two. And you mentioned that, the importance to you of being kind of the master of your, not just your craft, but of your business as well. So, and you mentioned, I think we've kind of all heard stories about how different artists can get taken advantage of by different parts of the industry. So this is kind of a two-pronged question. Has that kind of thing ever happened to you? And what kind of advice would you have for any other musicians who are looking to kind of establish themselves in a similar way?
I think, not that we've ever been taken advantage of, but maybe our band has been told, sort of like, been advertised the snake oil by the snake oil salesman.
Right.
So it's not like we haven't ever encountered some shady kind of thing. I think our band's always just been like, okay, how much is the snake oil? And the snake oil is very, oh, well, I didn't know you wanted to actually. So we've been in a habit of calling people and saying, sure, you're going to offer us this, or you're going to promise us that. Okay. And then very quickly they go, actually, I was just kind of selling smoke and mirrors to you. And we go, we had a feeling, but so as opposed to, say, oh, we're not ready, or what can we do? We just said, yep, okay, whatever you're offering our band, we just say yes to it, and then it's now your move. And very typically the phone line goes dead, and we go back to what we were doing, which is probably playing Destiny, or another 100 dates internationally, whatever it happens to be. That particular time, we're not too bothered.
100 dates on a tour? Is that kind of like par for the course for you guys?
Well, yeah, and that's only because we found out you can't tour 300 days a year, because other people in your band want to escape. Maybe if someone else wants to keep touring. Maybe if, once you play all the cities in Canada, there aren't 300 densely populated cities. So as a Canadian band, you have to just admit to yourself early on, there's a limit. What are you going to do when you're home from tour, right? Be busy, start a label, get involved.
Mm-hmm. So, again, go back to my second prong of that question.
Yes.
What to any younger artists who are looking to kind of establish themselves in a similar way, what would you encourage them to do?
Know what you want and know where you're going. I think so many artists are like that. You start a band, you're like, I want to do this forever, and the immediate thought is I want to sign to a label, and I would say like, why? Make sure that when you say I want a manager, I want a label, I want an agent, you understand what these people actually do and how they can help your band, as opposed to going, the door's open and I don't know what I'm selling, but you need to come to my shop,
Mm-hmm.
Like what we do doesn't look like fame and lots of cars, but explaining to a musician, it doesn't have to. Like, we like to say that, or feel that we're living proof that you can have this as a career. But what we then say is that doesn't mean write songs about Destiny and do what we did. We're just living proof that do whatever you want, because as long as you keep working at it, you could have a band that writes songs about other video games, or a song that writes just about hockey. Like, they could be this huge deal in the world, but everyone thinks they have to kind of play by the rules and look a certain way and write songs about certain things, and very quickly they lose the plot. And we like to just say to bands, we're proof that we literally just ignore everything else and try working, and that tends to yield the best results, which is go for it.
Guys, that's so punk. That's awesome. So you guys are doing a short tour this week, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are coming through Ottawa this Saturday, February 25th at Black Squirrel Books. You're doing a couple of other dates around that as well?
We've, this is like a warm-up. Again, we tried a new song today. We were trying some other new songs on the road. We just wanted to dust the cobwebs off and make sure we remembered we didn't play too much Destiny over Christmas holidays, and we know very much how to perform on stage. And as for the bookstore, we've played almost everywhere in Ottawa. From the House of Targ would be one of our favorites, Zaphod's, Ritual Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact we got the opportunity to play at this place, we just said yes. We have to see what this place is all about.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of like small venues in town, they're like a fairly new one who've been very active lately. So it'll be a cool spot to get in there. It's a really nice, cozy vibe in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to like the intimacy of it, especially because it's been a while since we played an Ottawa show, and I'm really looking forward to being able to come back to our hometown after being away on tour and then Christmas break and everything else, and having this like show where every single person in that room is feeding off that emotion, and you can't get that from like huge venues, but you can certainly get it from like somewhere like that, and I'm really looking forward to that experience for the first time.
I'm just happy someone thinks it's a good idea to have a bookstore in 2017.
Yeah.
That's like that's pretty cool. The fact that someone has agreed that's going to be a busy place is like sweet. If our band can bring in one more person and go, oh, what's this rectangle with words on it? I bought a book. That's got to count for something.
Yeah, like
right?
What is a book? Yeah, no, it is. It's a pretty happening spot. I mean, like cafe by day and like venue a couple evenings a week at least, and it's right close to Carleton University, so
that's awesome.
A lot of traffic in there that way. So who else is on the bill with you this Saturday?
There's I think there's like an emo band from Kitchener, and then there's a local band called the Superlative who are like reggae, Incubus-y
the
kind
Superlative, of course.
Yeah, so those dudes are awesome. So it's like an eclectic venue for an eclectic group of bands. So it's like that sounds like Ottawa to me.
Yeah, right.
Ottawa's never really the one. We're not a metal town. We're not an indie town. It's like a anything goes.
That's true.
Town.
Ottawa is a city of great musical diversity, as we here at CHUO know.
We're the only city with a blues fest that has no blues artists on it.
Yeah, it's true that. And that's very telling of Ottawa for sure. Well, folks, if that sounds up your alley, then make sure you swing by Black Squirrel Books this Saturday, February 25th for Double Experience. Thank you guys again so much for joining us in studio today, Ian and Brock.
Thank you very much
Thanks.
for having us.
Thank you guys.
Do you hear that? Do you know what that sound is? That's the sound of two drumsticks rubbing together, only on CHUO 89.1 FM.